skill set that you are doing, whatever road that you are mapping out for yourself in your future, make sure that you lay down a structural foundation where it has room to expand towards the future and creating towards the future. What do I mean by that? As they were creating the roads and everything, they had the future in mind 10, 20, 15 years from now, so that somebody else that will be coming in as a civil engineer doing these roads, the foundation is already laid, and then making another road to that first road makes things a little bit more easier for the next one who comes around. So when you're laying down your foundation, what happened to me was when I created my business, okay, my authorship empire, I started creating with nothing. I share that story with you guys, with literally nothing but a computer and a dream. And when I created it, it was on a small little pebble, okay? So what happens is I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it. Oh, okay, that's what's wrong with Louisiana. We're about 10 years behind on the roads. I can understand that too. But it wasn't that I didn't think my business wasn't going to grow. I didn't think it was going to grow that fast, okay? And when you have the roads, just like he said, look, we're 10 years behind. I don't think the person who built that foundation anticipated the population growing that fast with cars and vehicles. Look how far we came. One time we walked, one time we rode horses, the next time it's public transportation. So many different things with your future in mind. And so when I started mine, thank you guys so much for the hearts, but when I started my author empire, I did not build it with this future in mind. I had a different mindset with it, to where it started wobbling a little. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And when your house starts wobbling, you feel like you have no control. It's not that it was wobbling because of something bad. It was wobbling because I was getting overwhelmed with all of the opportunities that were falling right in my lap, and things that I asked for, things that I prepared for, but my foundation wasn't set or laid out to reap all of these benefits or all these opportunities. So if you guys are just joining us right now, if you invited your followers to the scope, I'm Desiree Lee, a best-selling author, public speaker, and a philanthropist. I travel nationwide sharing my story and sharing my experiences. And I know you guys saw the title, Highway Construction. Yes. But I like to speak and share and tell people based on analogies, because that's how I get. I'm a visual person. I have to see it. Oh, hey, hello, what's going on? Hey, my Perry friends are here. It's good to see you guys. I missed you over the weekend. So we were talking about how, civil engineers, when they create a road, it seemed like every time I go out of town, it's always construction. But as they created one lane or two lanes, they created this future of driving from state to state with the future in mind. Because when they were starting to implement more roads on this one-way road, I saw them take it in from the inside, from the grass. And then I was like, well, how do they spread out, make more roads without cutting these trees over here, without upsetting the median and all that? And that's what they do. And what I'm saying is to relate it or to parallel to what we're going through, just so that you can learn from my experience. And, you won't find yourself overwhelmed with opportunities, because your foundation will be created with the future in mind. When I initially started my business, it was on a pebble. I literally built this thing on a pebble, okay, guys? So when the opportunities start flooding in, my foundation started wobbling because my foundation couldn't hold all the opportunities. And so, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is from my own personal experience, T, So it's like, I wish somebody would have told me this. And we do think of the future. We do have goals and things set in mind, but we don't think of the future foundation to hold the goals, to hold the opportunities. Were you scared? Yes, to be honest with you, I was a little frightened, because there's two types of fear. It's a fear that it might not work, that nobody's going to listen to you, Desiree, because you're a convicted felon. And then there's a fear of, oh my gosh, it just might work. I might not be able to handle it. what if, they're asking me, I can't do it and this, that, and the other. But when you eliminate those two mindsets of fear, you no longer become scared. You become aware. And now that I'm aware, I'm not scared at all. It's just going back to the basics. But before I go to that point of going back to the basics, I want you guys, if you're an author or a beginner or a pro, or even if you might want to just write a book, or maybe you're not even interested in writing a book and you're just like, well, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a coach, I'm a life coach, I'm a speaker, whatever. Good morning, Allison. It's good to see you, Perry friend. Think of yourself, get outside of your business. Another part of my conversation with my friend today was, hey, look, this is how I messed up in the beginning. Exactly. What if it works and I cannot maintain success? It's always one fear. Well, you know what? It is what it is. You know what I mean? You don't know if you'll be able to handle it until you're in that situation. And when you know that, it's like, okay, then you're going to jump anyway. But at the same time, you have to create what you want. You created your greatness. Congrats. Yes. True. Yes. Just to, to elaborate more on your point is, when you have the fear of you might not be able to handle it all, then you'll be able to anticipate that magnitude. Well, if I just wrote my book. What if somebody wants to order 10 copies? Well, I already created a wholesale order form. So now I'm ready to receive this overwhelming experience of selling out of my books. What if, it's a flood, like you said, I was at a speaking engagement and I sold out of all of my books and people wanted more books. And I was like, okay, well, go to Amazon. But what I found out is that those were impulse buyers, and I was giving them more transactions to do or more steps to take in order to get the book. So I felt some type of way because, oh my gosh, I'm not prepared. I'm overwhelmed. All these people want my books and I don't have the books. But now what I did was I have an order form to where if I ever sell out of books, or they can order it right then and there and they just fill out their addresses and everything else. You know what I mean? And so you prepare for this, so you're not scared anymore. Your hair is gorgeous. Preparation helps overcome fear. Thank you so much, Allison. Yes, it does. Fear, false evidence appearing real. Absolutely. I totally agree with those statements, ladies and Perry friends. Give up the hearts for that, because it is false evidence appearing real, just point blank period. And you don't know if you can handle it until you're there. But then, just like I just shared with you, I got there and was like, oh my gosh, I can't handle it. Oh my gosh, I need help. Who do I hire? This, that, and the other. What do I do? What is next? And the uncertainty of that, and what I'm sharing with you, is the foundation. I had a foundation, but not with the future in mind. So it goes back to now franchise. You are in your business. I need you guys to step outside of your business, because what happens is, this is your baby, this is your brand. And if you're a mother, like I'm a mother, I know, for instance, like, this is your baby. Not everybody can watch your baby, and they're not just going to any daycare or school or etc. And if somebody is mean to your baby or tries to sabotage your baby, you're going into defense mode and protecting your baby. But in your business, even when you have a child, you're preparing them to stand on their own 2 feet, on their own firm foundation. So even though you have your baby, right? And even though when something is a little rocky on their foundation, they can always lean on mommy, or they can always lean on daddy. And that's what we do with our business. But with our business and our baby, we tend to protect it as such and keep it a baby through its whole transition. But if we step outside of it and create with our future in mind, then we'll be in the mindset of franchise. When you're creating this foundation, create it to where it can run by itself without you being there presently sending email, doing this, doing that. And later today, I will show you some different free tips that I use. Excellent building a business versus being self-employed. Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with being self-employed. All businesses and corporations started at home. Ford started building cars in his garage. Steve Jobs in his garage. We can go down a list of people who started in their home. I mean, Steve Harvey started on the street. I mean, not Steve Harvey, Tyler Perry. He was homeless. He began on the street. But at the same time, he had it with the future in mind, and franchise and brand. Don't just look at yourself as a writer or an author. And when you look at it, I look at it as a brand. But my foundation wasn't with a franchise mindset in mind. What do I mean by that? How can you, so you might be saying, well, Desiree, I like that idea. That's great. You're absolutely right about that. I need to start thinking franchise, okay? And so then you're saying, well, Desiree, I'm an author, I'm a speaker. How do I do that? Nothing is impossible, guys. So if you watch, like I watch TED Talks on YouTube, I watch TED Talks all the time, and get inspiration and find inspiration from different speakers on TED Talks. Well, he started off as a speaker, guys, as an author, and with the future in mind, he franchised TED Talks, which is not a for-profit franchise, it's a non-profit franchise, to where he is in. I looked on there just over the weekend, and they got events all in New Zealand, all over the world. He has TED Talks, and that is his brand, that's his franchise. Do you see what I'm saying, guys? So he created his foundation on one road to South Carolina. However, when he created the road, he made sure there was grass in the middle to where he can expand and make more lanes down this one road. Do you see what I'm saying? So when you are creating, make sure you're creating with the future in mind, not so much as preparing for bad times or dry seasons, but preparing for building the increase, the handling of overload. Do you know, big business, I would take small business any day over the week. Better customer service, absolutely. And how can you take that? I totally agree with that, because I'm so big on customer service. I mean, all the way to a fast food place, okay? But however, Chick-fil-A is a big business with